And coming to you live from Kenny's basement apartment where he's built an effigy of Baker Mayfield that he cuddles at night to get to the Super Bowl. It's Sports Allegedly.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Sports Allegedly on this day, January. Is it the 16th already?
16th. It's a
16th, snowy cold, yes,
it's
in
not
Oklahoma.
actually cold. I thought it was going to be colder.
It's cold enough. I think everybody. I think we're getting a warm up tomorrow. I think it's
fine.
going to be like 38 or something here in the great state of Oklahoma. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Better than -1.
Yes, thank you for joining
I
us.
think that's what we got to.
Yeah, it was cold. Thank you for joining us today for this episode, heavy NFL episode.
Heavier than me.
We'll talk a little bit about college football coaching and some other news at the end. But let's start.
Well, other coaching. That's something about Harbaugh.
Yeah, but let's start with the obvious.
Start with the collapse.
How about them boys, them Dallas Cowboys?
Oh my God, where is that screen at? Damn it!
So I wanted to go back and look. So we both picked Dallas to win the game.
We did.
Predicted score. I think I was a little closer than you. You had like a butt kicking.
Yeah.
You had 35-10 Dallas, and I had 42-24.
Yeah.
Now, let me just start by saying that I might be right about Jordan Love.
I'm not going with that.
And like I said, and I don't know if I give him any love in the picks. I was thinking about that today. No, picked him last, and but that's just because LaFraud annoys me. But anyway, so Jordan Love, this kid comes out, and they've had, the first half of the season that Green Bay did not do as well. And then they kind of went on a streak at the end. I thought the big win against, who did they beat on that? Was it the Chiefs? Hold on, I need to pull them up. What are you looking for?
Oh, nothing. I screwed something up.
Oh. I got to find Green Bay because there was one win I wanted to point to in their schedule this year that I thought, man, that was a hell of a win.
It was
the Lions. It was the Lions. I thought they beat Lions on 23rd, which I think that was.
Was it in Lambeau?
No, it was in Detroit.
Okay, so Detroit beat them in Lambeau.
Yes, it was in Detroit, but they beat the Chiefs. They had a flub against the Giants, and then of course the Packers beat them.
Oh no, that was just.
The Bucs
that was
beat them.
Wink Martindale doing some good defensing, and it wasn't a flub.
But no, I thought Jordan Love the second half of the season played really well. The front line for Green Bay was amazing.
Amazing.
But let's get to the real meltdown of everything. Now, if you really want to look at the stats, though, and I'm a stat guy, and you know I'm a stat guy. Now you pull them up.
Didn't I say this was going to happen?
No, but you pull the stats up. Take away the 2 picks.
I got it.
Yeah, take away the 2 picks, and if you didn't look at the score, Dallas won. They had better rushing. The rushing was better, or not rushing. I'm sorry. Passing was better. Time of possession was pretty even. But those turnovers from Dak were just killers. And you sat there, and of course, Green Bay fans are just sick. And you look at the score; it was 48-32 was the final. I believe at one point it was 41-16. If that right?
Yeah, it was. Let's go see here.
I think it was 41-16.
Yeah, it shows you. So it gets down to 41-16 right before.
That was up into the fourth. It was 41-16.
Yeah.
Yeah. Into the fourth. And they
48-16.
They outscored Green Bay by 9 points was it 9? No, it was 9.
Is it 9?
Yeah. They outscored them by 9 points in the fourth quarter. But so to make it look somewhat respectable.
I was thinking something.
But but look at the yards. Dallas had more yards, more first downs.
510, but the turnover, you got to win the turnover game.
Turnovers were huge, and I thought
wasn't one of those a run back?
I don't know if they scored.
Yeah,
points.
Interception return.
Yes, that was the long one. Yes, and that was one of them that was just bad.
And
it was bad.
The fact that Dallas who's that? The one kid that came in with had an interception like every game.
Oh, Bland.
Nothing.
Well, okay, so we can start with the defense. I mean, it was 27-0 before they even scored. And I thought, at one point, Micah Parsons was in coverage. I just don't understand that.
And they got the touchdown with and Dallas got their touchdown with 0 time left.
Yeah, it was at the very end of the second half or first half. And it was a huge there because it was 27-17. Dallas gets the ball back first. They can't even go down and score. They do get a field goal out of it, but that makes it 27-10. 27-14 would have been a lot better looking there.
Oh, yeah.
But the defense just kept giving up. I mean, you look at that. Yeah, you look, Sean, 3 plays, 6 plays, 5 plays. You know, there's 3 plays there.
Oh yeah,
Big
their score.
plays.
They were giving up huge passing
yeah.
and.
So what happens when and everyone's kind of questioning Quinn?
Well, hell, in the beginning they were giving up big runs.
Well, Quinn had his worst game I've seen him at Dallas calling a game. I mean, I just thought it was horrible because you turn around and you look at them and a lot of zone. They left the zone open. There was no pressure on the court on Love. Hey, Love essentially, guys, is a rookie in his rookie season.
Why did Dan change?
I don't know.
This game.
I don't know. It just seemed odd
Why
to
did
me.
yeah.
I mean, even the commentators, and I was talking to a friend last night that was talking about it. He said, what the hell was Micah Parsons doing in coverage? I said, well, we thought about it. Commentators thought about it. It's like, you got to put the pressure on Love. He is a young quarterback. Generally, they had no pressure. I thought the key to the game was Love making no mistakes. He played very good ball, threw the deep ball really well. Didn't make mistakes. The offensive line, even when Quinn in the second half, even after
started
putting pressure, I thought the offensive line was very underrated in that game as what they can do. And then, of course, you've got the defense. But, you know, Dak, you throw the ball 60 times, and you've got 403 yards, and that's great. It's an average of 6.7. But, you know, Tony Pollard, go back down to the receiving, Sean. I think there was quite a few different receivers that caught balls. Yeah, it was.
They both spread it around.
Yeah, and so Ferguson, CD finally had some catches, but I didn't break that down. I should have broke that down to the last fourth quarter because CD Lamb looked odd. They were just not meshing well. I thought Ferguson played a really good game. I've never really thought he's a good tight end, but I thought he showed some.
He came alive.
He did really well there.
He did
what
he had to do to be that receiver.
They tried to do the run. That was one of the things I was watching is they would run a bunch of bunch formations, and they just was so. What is the word when you just keep doing shit? Stubborn about getting the run. You know, they wanted to run the ball. Dallas did, and Green Bay was not giving that. So they did a lot of bunch formations early in the game, and they just run it, and then it was a stop. It was lost. What was the run per average, Sean, up there? Just hit me up a little bit, right above that, because you know you've got a 9. Like I said, passing was great. You had 41 receptions. What was the run average? Yeah, it was a little less than 5. Little less than 5.
They're both running.
A little less than 5 yards. Now Dak had he did have 1 or 2 good runs, but then you know Aaron Jones, they kept feeding him the ball, and everyone said the way to beat Dallas is run the ball. And of course, they got the turnovers. But Love, I mean, you've got to give this guy credit. No one has given him credit this year.
Nope.
And I know, and Green Bay has continued to look much better as the season went on. I mean, they had a couple of odd losses. They lost to the Giants. The Buccaneers beat them. And they barely beat the Bears.
Yeah, that was an odd loss.
And no, I mean
every time you lose to the
every
time you lose to the Buccaneers, it's an odd loss.
Whatever. So I think that, but what happened? I think that Love is very underrated. Now, let's look at it now. Do they? What do you think your chances? Give me your chances on them beating 49ers, or do they even have a shot?
No shot.
No shot.
No shot.
No shot at all.
No shot. That defense is going to come out spanky doodle.
I don't. They have not played this year. Is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
I swear they did. Didn't they play?
I don't think they did. No. No, because it looks like they played the NFC South, and looks like they played the AFC.
It wasn't that random
North,
game, was it?
AFC North.
All right, so they didn't. But
point spread on that one is 49ers favored by 9 at home.
That's weird that it's not a tenner.
Their
spreads have been 10 and 15, 14, 12. They've had double digits for quite a while.
I think if the defense can give,
the defense is going to come back healthy.
Well, if they give, but I'm thinking
all those weeks
thinking about Green Bay's defense. Let's get in the face of Brock Purdy, see what he can do. It is playoff Purdy.
And so
how is playoff Purdy done? What did he do last year?
He took the Niners to the championship.
So they won 2 games and then lost the third one. Because I don't think they were
that's
the bye.
because he got knocked out. He got Aaron Rodgers.
That's right. He was hurt. That's right.
And he had to come in and play with with no throwing arm.
That's right. I remember that.
And you kept making fun. You're like, Niners, Brock Purdy. And I'm like, the dude is hurt and he's still in playing.
Allegedly, that was me. I don't really think I did.
Oh, that was you. You dog cuss Purdy all the time. You're like, Purdy, what's the special about Mr. Number 7 going and winning 2 playoff games?
So give me as we're
one more playoff games than Baker Mayfield.
No, they'd be tied if he won 2 last year. Baker's won 2.
Has Baker won 2? I thought he only won 1.
Well, he won 1 with Cleveland.
Oh, did they win 1?
Well, yes. Then he got hurt, and they just systematically cut him and went, "You're dog shit." You want to lead into that one? Is that where we're going? We're gonna do the Tampa. I want to do the Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
I thought we should save the best for last, though. Don't you think? Maybe just leave that Tampa one for last.
The Chiefs are way over there.
No, just let's move on.
No, the best game. What was the best game?
I thought the best game was the Rams.
Rams, Detroit. So we're saving that for last.
Well, then we could segue into Tampa because they play each other. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the AFC.
AFC?
Let's talk about probably the most boring game. Well, that was a boring one, too. I thought both AFC. I thought the Chiefs. We'll talk about Chiefs and Dolphins. We joke that everyone should bet the farm on the Chiefs to win. It was going to be cold temperatures in Kansas City, and it did not surprise. So, are you going to pull that up? Chiefs. We're talking about the Chiefs. What are you doing?
It's 26-7.
It's 26-7.
Your boy Tua Tagovailoa.
Now,
he's shining again.
It was not good. He did not have a good game. No.
Oh, well, just like whenever they played the Bills in the last game.
Just did not.
He's shining.
Just did not have a good
game.
game.
He's outshining Josh Allen, which, Josh Allen's shit, but guess who's beating him?
We'll talk about
who's been winning.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to talk about.
Well, I mean, if you remember, I picked the Bills as my Super Bowl favorite when they were like 6-6
in the last game.
So.
Let's remind everybody.
When they were on at their worst, I picked it when they were the best. To be the best. All right.
To be the best, you're gonna beat the best.
I don't know. The Chiefs game, it was just boring. I never felt. You never just felt like. Even at halftime, it was 16-7. You never felt like the Dolphins were going to do anything. No. I mean, just nothing. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't pass the ball.
Tyreek. Tyreek.
But he had the one long one. I mean, there was a long one he had in there. And there was plays in there. But hey, you know what I thought?
That's why you don't give kids lighters in a house.
I thought the rookie Rice for the wide receiver for Kansas City has really turned it on. Finally, they might have found something. He had hell of a numbers.
Did you have him in your fantasy?
No, I think someone else did. I almost picked him. No, I had the Watson guy, and he had 2 catches for 20 yards. But.
That's everybody.
Yeah, that was everyone for that. But no, I thought Patrick Mahomes. He didn't have a great game. The weather, 23
did he crack
40.
His helmet?
He did. What a hit!
That's how
he
cold
took.
It was.
Yeah, what a hit he took. And hey, but they won the game, and like I said, it was the best matchup that they could have got. Now they turn around. Anything else in that game? I mean, that was. I don't think anybody. If anybody picked the Dolphins, and the spread was low too. If anybody picked the Dolphins, this is dumb bet.
It shows
just was going in there. And they didn't have a good record.
It shows you the fallacy of Josh McDaniels' offensive mindset.
Mike McDaniels.
God, what is it? Josh and Mike. Speed. His whole offense is set on speed. Well, what happens when it's cold? You ain't that fast.
We all knew it. I mean, there was no doubt. I mean, nobody in our picks picked the Dolphins. I think someone tried to pick them to cover. But I think the cover. Yeah, the cover. It wasn't even that big. I mean,
I ain't taking a 3-point cover.
The smart picks went on that. So, Kansas City now they go and play, which I thought was one of the better games. Late it turned into it, but I never thought the Bills even had, as we segue into the Bills game.
Oh, just straight to the Bills.
I just don't. I thought the turnovers.
This was the game that I missed. I slept through this game.
Josh Allen. Mason Rudolph played okay. You could just tell the difference. I mean, you got Josh Allen, you got Mason Rudolph. It just wasn't going to be.
Why they had Rudolph continuously throwing when you knew that it was that cold, and it was going to be a run-heavy game.
No, yeah, I mean, and they focused on it.
It was going to be a run.
But they only averaged 4.6 yards a carry. Pittsburgh did. Warren had 38 yards. Najee had 37. Pittsburgh had been winning the last
With
few
the
games
run game.
with the run game,
Yeah.
and they couldn't do it. And hey,
Because the run game was what was opening up Mason Rudolph.
give credit to
His offensive-
Buffalo's defense on that. I thought they looked very sound. I thought the one pick, I think it was a pick in the end zone for the
Pickens and his fumbling.
yeah. Well,
Costly fumbles.
yes, that was a bad turnover. How many turnovers did they have total?
They had
I know
two.
Rudolph threw that one pick, and seeing that could have turned that 7 points into nothing.
Yeah, they had
was,
two turnovers.
Was huge.
Again, you lost the turnover battle.
Yes, and the yards
You
were
lose
pretty.
the game.
The yards were pretty close.
Time of possession was close.
Yeah, it was fairly close. 33 to 26 minutes.
Still, that's close.
But yeah, the turnovers, and I just thought Josh Allen with his legs made big plays, and I thought that Mason Rudolph just never
Josh
made
Allen-
plays big enough.
Josh Allen did what Josh Allen had been doing in the last few games of the season. Just taking off and running, being selfish.
Well, and he needed to, and maybe that's what they kind of went back to. But honestly, I don't necessarily think now the big thing about Josh Allen is 0 interceptions. 0 interceptions.
That's your favorite,
You
isn't
go into that. It's exactly what I talk about
turned everything off.
with I talk about Baker Mayfield, and when I talk about Josh Allen. The key to you continuing to move your team forward is avoid the costly mistakes. And he did. Josh did in this game. 31-17 final. They play the they play the Chiefs. Bills get the home game, though, which is huge. That was a huge win. Didn't really sound like it, but
Kansas City's going to
beating,
Buffalo.
Yeah, but beating that Miami win at the end of the game,
yeah,
the season was a huge
pushed
win.
them into number 2.
That's exactly right. And then they got the home game. So spread on that game is 2.5. Buffalo is actually favored
in the cold,
and so both cold teams. I haven't decided who we'll pick at the end of the.
I think I'm going to take Buffalo by maybe 2.
We'll do our scores at the end after we talk about the coaching. We'll put all our scores
what's
back
the
together.
weather on that game too?
I haven't seen. I saw 3.5. Or I'm sorry, 2.5 for that. But the key is it's going to be the quarterback play. Chiefs and Bills both don't have a great running game, but they have been improving at times. And hey, and speaking of the Chiefs, going back to the Chiefs a little bit, how about Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator for the Chiefs? They're the only team that I think in the NFL, if I read this right, and I could be mistaken, I should have went back and checked it, was the only team that didn't give up a game of 30 points to an opponent all year long. They were the only ones that held. Yeah, that was Kansas City. Now, saying that is the defense. I mean, they've been great. They've always been underrated because it's all been about Mahomes. It's been about Kelsey, Tyreek when he was there was all about that. So so you don't. What was the highest point total they give up, Sean?
I'm seeing a 19 to the Packers.
Yeah, and that's the game they lost.
20 to the Vikings and 20 to the Jets.
Yeah. So that's and then the
20
Lions.
to the Lions.
Yeah, and the Lions.
Or
Your
21 to the Lions.
game in the first
Oh
game.
no, they give up 24 to the Broncos. I'm looking at this differently.
Do what?
I'm looking at this off. They give up 24 to the Broncos.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that was the horrible game. That was the game you sat and watched and went, "Oh shit, the Broncos are back."
27.
And then they fell apart.
Who said the Broncos are back? What kind of idiots said? Hey,
Oh,
the Broncos are back.
No, they talked about it. Now the Broncos were getting some love. If you remember,
I know.
towards the end of the season, they had one. They'd put together 3 or 4 wins and got to
Right.
almost 500, and we're like,
Right, but
"Oh
then they got mad at Russell Wilson because Russell wouldn't take out his damn injury clause, and they were like, "Oh well, you're going to sit on the bench because we can't afford to pay you that extra millions of dollars if you're injured."
All right, Chiefs and Bills. What is the schedule on that, Sean? Are they the Thursday? Let's see. Saturday game.
Let me go to
Yeah, see what the
divisional
games.
round
I forgot
here.
to pull that up.
Dirty. Okay, there we go. See, Texans Ravens are going to have the
That's the Saturday. And I knew the
early
49ers were that
game.
night.
Niners
Okay.
have the late game.
Gotcha. Bucks.
Chiefs.
Bucks are early. Mm-hmm.
Chiefs and Bills are going to be.
That'll be the later game.
The 5:30 game.
Yeah. All right.
On
Boy,
Sunday.
Sunday's got the much better games, to be honest, I think. I mean, they just do. I mean, it's going to be more entertaining, more exciting.
You're not happy for this Ravens-Texans game?
I am, because I think that, we talked
Well, we got to talk about that Rookie of the Year shit.
We'll get to him here in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think his name and his hype coming in.
well, let's move. Let's go ahead and move on to the Texans. We'll talk about them. We'll give our predictions at the end of the pod and reasons why. But you look at the Texans. I believe I was the only one that picked them. Maybe is that right? Correct. Picked him straight up. Practically, there was not going to be any spread. I think it was like a 2, wasn't it? It was low, 2 or 3.
The collapse of Joe Flacco. How does this team do this? How do you come in burning on all cylinders and D'Amico Ryans
so
figures you out?
2 pick sixes, obviously.
Yes, 2 pick sixes.
Now take those away, and I know you can't, and because that changed the whole dynamic. But 34, 46, 300 yards, 1 touchdown. Wasn't bad, but you look at his average, only 6 yards.
Yeah,
look at the run game Cleveland had.
Let's talk about his yak.
Well, look at the run game that Cleveland had, though. I mean, they were averaging not even 3 yards a carry between Hunt and Ford, and it just went to shit. So they went to a total passing. They went to a total passing game, and even Houston didn't really have a big running game, but the deal is the defense was huge. In picking up the turnovers.
Dude, the game was so bad, Davis Mills got to play.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But it was 24-14 at half.
Yeah, it was very close. And that's what you could called me, and I was like, no, it's 14-10.
you had Cleveland up still. That's what the last time you saw.
The last I looked at it, Cleveland was up. And I watched it sporadically.
Or maybe it was 14-10. Yes, that's what it was.
It was 14-10, and I was doing some stuff. Oh, that was the day that no, that wasn't was that a Thursday game?
No, that was Saturday.
Saturday. Okay. Yeah. So
I was
trying to contemplate if I was going to go to work. So I'd miss literally the beginning of that to that halftime point where you were like, no, it's 24-14. And I was like, huh? No, dude, it was just 14-10. And the collapse from there was epic. No more scoring for Cleveland. And what is that? 21 straight points for Houston
in the second half.
C.J. Stroud balling out.
Yeah, outscored him 21-0, and just like you'd mentioned before, Davis Mills got to play.
We're looking at C.J. C.J. only had 1 rush.
Yeah, well, and it goes back to the
0 sack. This is an offensive line right here.
Yes, that's got talent. What I've been talking about is you look at the team; they've had a good building for the last 3 years in picks. And what they were missing the whole time was the right coach and right quarterback. And Stroud has impressed me. I think you especially were anti-Ohio State quarterback.
I still am.
And I don't know if I'm going to have to go back and see what I give him on my predictions about that. But I don't think that. I see that.
You got him, Craig. Yeah. You got him, Buster.
But I don't think that. But I think the key is the mistakes. And you look at the quarterback play that we talked about in all these games. The ones that we have won is you look at the big fat zeros and interceptions, and that makes a huge difference. In the playoffs, you just can't make mistakes. It's just, and they'll tell you that over and over. Turnovers will cost you games.
2 turnovers. Look at this. There's a thing going here.
And the quarterback play that we're winning was not making those bad turnovers. And we'll talk about that when we'll talk about Tampa's game here in a minute, and what we talked about with the Bills about the turnovers. All right, so you've got Houston and at Baltimore. That's going to be
cold weather game.
That's going to be the
you don't have the comfort of NRG Stadium.
Early game on Saturday. Spread. What do you think? Did you look already?
Oh, those purple people eaters are going to be
9-point spread.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, this is 7.5 on this. You went
Vegas Insider.
Our Vegas Insider who won't pay us.
Yes.
Insider.
Pay us, Vegas Insider.
Pay us, Vegas Insider.
9 points right now. So, I mean, that's going to be a tough pick. We'll talk about that, and we'll give our keys to the game as we close up. We wanted to kind of preview all the other games. But I think that game is going to be a little closer than what people might think. This Ravens-Houston. I think a lot of people's going to put Houston, or they're going to take Houston and take him for granted. I don't think Baltimore's going to do that. Baltimore, obviously one of the best defenses in the league, is going to be key in that. And then you got to see what Lamar does as far as how he plays. All right.
Oh, yeah. Which Lamar are we going to get?
That's exactly
what
right.
Lamar is going to come out. Playoff Lamar, when was the last time he was in the playoffs and won? 2 years ago? 3?
He was in there last year.
No, Huntley was in.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Because he was injured.
That's right. All right, let's move on to Lions.
Lions.
Bum, bum, bum.
The best game of
The most entertaining game for me. Not the best game I watched.
Oh, it's the best game.
My favorite game
No, it
was
was the
Tampa.
best game. No, it's the best game.
No, Detroit and
LA was the best game.
It was the best game.
It came right down to the end. I thought LA had this game right at the end, and you know had to punt it away.
Two things that I took away from that game is one is both quarterbacks played really well.
Very conservative.
And no, I thought they played well. I thought Stafford had to throw the ball a little bit in the second half. They kind of had to, you know, it seemed like they were trying to catch up a little bit, you know, because it was always close.
Yeah.
You know, Goff and them, they tried to run the ball a little bit. You know, Detroit did, but I thought Goff, he didn't make mistakes. Only threw one touchdown, but there was no mistakes that made. But the thing that won this game is the thing that I have talked about being their liability going into the playoffs was their defense. And their defense...
Detroit?
Yes.
Oh.
I've always thought that Detroit's defense was going to be the liability of them going to the Super Bowl. And they showed up huge. The thing with the Rams is they could not score once they got in the red zone. It was like shutdown city. And there were so many times when they needed big plays, that defense of Detroit shut them down. And I thought it was one of the most impressive defenses that Aaron Glenn called for that game, and I thought that they were always in the face of Stafford. Now, I'm not saying the front line's bad, but the linebackers and the secondary, it was always my question about that defense.
One good thing about this game was it featured 4 great rookies. Kyrene Williams, running back for L.A., Puka Nacua, who broke records, Sam Laporta, who broke records.
Most catches, and
then Jahmyr Gibbs, who Kenny later called generational.
He will be.
Yeah, he wasn't initially.
4 catches, 43 yards.
And this is where I want to talk about the offensive rookie of the year. So Laporta broke records, but wasn't a big name coming in. Puka Nacua broke records, but was not a huge name coming in. Kyrene, he could have broke records. I don't know.
Stroud
he came on later in the season.
Yeah, correct. Stroud's going to be your winner.
Because of the name recognition.
I think it's the
position.
I think it's the position more than the name is why he's going to get
These guys broke records.
I know.
And of course Stroud did set 2-3 records.
I don't know what records he set, but Bakua's had the most. He had the most catches and receiving yards for a rookie.
Yeah.
Now he broke the records, but it's one of those deals. Now Bakua's going to be right there. I think that he kind of come on, though, when Kupp was kind of down, and is he the new Kupp? I mean,
he's definitely the new
you
Kupp.
watch that game, is Stafford
they
really...
kept trying to force it to Kupp.
They did. That's exactly right.
Trying to force it to Kupp.
And I thought Nakua's just sitting out there. And you talk about I'd love to see the yak for him, what he gives Stafford some numbers, because that guy gets it, and he's like, boom. Takeoff.
Nacua?
Yes. I mean, his
he
yards
had
after catch.
200 yards receiving.
It's got to be huge. Exactly. No, but I think Stroud's going to win it simply for the position.
I think it's the name.
But I think
it's the name.
I think it's going to be close. But also, you got to think about Houston. Last year they were 3-13-1. I think it was 3-13. I know they had a tie. So I think it was 3-13-1.
The Rams weren't any better last season.
All the injuries, though. See, Stafford didn't play much last year. You got to remember.
He played 2-3 games.
Yeah, so you got to remember that. So I think Baker played some last year. Wasn't he at the Rams last year? Yeah. So
he came in and finished out the season.
Yeah.
That's why he had 48 hours, gets thrown in and beats the Broncos.
Yeah, it was some Monday night game, I think it was. Yeah. So they didn't play. So I think that's that they didn't really focus on them improving as much as the Houston Texans is their improvement.
I'm saying that we need to look at other things other than the name and the media hype.
Oh, statistically is what you're saying? Are you talking about stats, Sean? Because statistically, Puka is the winner. talking about them stats.
I'm talking about on-field performance.
Stats. When it all said and done.
On-field performance. I don't know these stats you speak of.
I think is
boring. That is boring. Number people work.
I think it's the position is why.
Shut up, nerd.
That's what's going to be the winner.
That's what you love. That's what you love. You get and you start making your order and like, ooh, numbers. Oh, how many of these numbers? Ooh, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to punch in numbers. I love numbers.
Well, and that's what I mean. And sometimes
your dirty talk is stats.
Sometimes stats will show you a broad picture. It's like Bob Ross up there with stats. So like
can paint a picture with
paint the
stats.
stats. So all right, so good job. I mean, first home win.
And we were all hoping that it was going to be a 30, 40 years.
What was the first home? Yeah,
91?
it's huge. Not 91. I think it was worse 92. Than that. Home win, I think.
I know that this is the last time Lions won a game. Texting wasn't even invented.
That's exactly right. That is true.
It's still my favorite. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
There's some guy that had tickets for 66 years. He was a celebrity shot in the game.
Another thing, if you watch that game, especially in the first half, because Detroit was on fire. Detroit and LA scored on their first three possessions. They scored points, and I thought, they had won. Or we'll talk about that.
Now, do you think there were adjustments in the second half, or do you think it was desperation?
No, I thought that Goff looked a little more. They did play a little more conservative that second half, but I thought the defense just kept ramping it up, and the crowd was in it, and I thought that was huge. And I mean, and segueing in the next game, they're going to have another home game. I mean, that's going to be 2 in a row home games at Ford Field. And if you thought it was rocking then, I think when Tampa comes in to Detroit next week on Sunday, it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be louder than what you could ever imagine.
Yeah, because think about it. This is an old NFC Central matchup.
Well, and look, another thing about the crowd, you noticed that
was in the Central.
That Stafford, though, if you watched him, there was multiple times that timeouts were had to be called because of the crowd noise. You're going to probably see that. If I was Tampa this week, before we segue into their game, is you got to be playing a lot of loud music or whatever in your practice facility that you're doing, because you want to have that. You're going to have to do a lot of plays off of snap counts, and you call it, if you're changing plays and stuff. That's going to be the most one of the more interesting things. Yeah, it's going to be the most interesting thing I'm going to see. You got to deafen
your entire offense. Just put just put shit over their ears and deafen them, and
because
you're going off motion now.
What I have thought has been the weakest for Tampa as we move to the Tampa game.
This is the best game.
Back up to the Lions.
I haven't gone anywhere.
St. Brown, 7 catch, 110 yards.
Oh, here he goes.
That guy, I mean.
I'm on, rah,
yes.
rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
You don't do it. You look like a fucking muffin.
That guy is just so underrated.
Yeah.
And some people that pick them on their fantasy team. That dude.
Somebody's 2021
that dude just made me a bunch of points all year long. I mean, he was up there statistically with some of all the best, and he just kept balling out. And I thought that, but Gibbs, Jameson Williams, Reynolds, I thought they made critical catches. I think Goff has and obviously Laporta obviously has a very underrated receiving core for that team.
Well, I would say Amon is receiver 1.
Yes.
Your tight end is going to be your receiver 2.
That's correct, yes.
The problem with Williams and Reynolds were they dropped balls all season.
Reynolds wasn't as bad. Jameson's just kind of coming. I had him for a little bit in my fantasy.
Underrated, I say, needs to stop worrying about getting hit and just catch the goddamn ball.
Well, not him. I just meant overrated underrated as a whole. As a whole squad.
I did, and we need to
because
talk about
Reynolds and Williams
generational player.
They're fast.
Every one of your generational players have failed this season.
Gibbs? No way.
No. You didn't say that till halfway through the season. I'm talking about
why would I have drafted him? Zay Flowers.
You drafted him because we stole your players.
Zay Flowers, you stole. I said was generational. Who else did I say?
You said
in the draft day.
Bijan.
I do think he's going to be I do.
And let's see, Jalen Carter.
He did okay.
I believe you might have thrown Addison in there. I'd have to go back and listen.
He did pretty good too. I was more impressed with. I didn't say that.
I was more impressed with Addison in the season receiving than I was Zay Flowers.
Well, no, but you got to take away that Jefferson got hurt, so he got a lot more looks. Addison did.
Okay,
Jefferson was out for quite a few games.
And let's take away the quarterback. You'd put a throwing quarterback in where Lamar Jackson. Zay Flowers is probably generational.
No, I think he threw more this year than he ran attempts than most of the other. Monken changed that. He did throw more at Baltimore. Lamar was throwing the ball more. We'll delve into that.
Somebody had Zay on their fantasy team, and he was hit or miss on points.
Yeah, I think the rookie. I just think it was rookie, and I think that.
Don't pull my excuse. That's my logic.
Just saying.
You're pulling my logic.
Just like you said, Gibbs. They got a free agent.
Yeah.
But you've got a free agent
if they
that's in front of him.
sign a huge free agent, we
talked about that all year.
Never take the rookie.
Montgomery got most of the carries all game.
And I'd looked
all year
into
in every
having
game.
Laporta.
Yes.
And congratulations to Laporta for being able to come back for that playoff game because he was injured.
Hyperextended knee, I think is what it was. So he didn't tear anything. Hyperextended.
Yeah.
He didn't. I didn't watch him that close because I couldn't see it all, but he might have been slowed down some. But I thought that St. Brown, the first half was huge about the catches they made, and they were proving a point, and they got the momentum behind their side. They were behind their side or behind me, yeah. And I thought that was huge. But like I said, the defense, give them the game ball overall.
Well,
Detroit.
give both defenses the game ball because they both locked down at the right time. I mean, the first half was. We thought it was going to be a 40-point ball game.
We did.
There could have been 80 points scored.
Well, and that's no joke because we talked about betting the over. It was like 53 or 54. We're like, oh, shit. Look at the halftime score. We're already in the 40s. And then after that, shut it down. It's funny. Vegas knows those things. But the under, I think that it was the under because I think it was 52, 53. But anyway, so as we move, you're good. As we move on to the game. The last game, is that the last game we ever talked about? Tampa?
God, people.
I want to talk about as you're working on that. You had 24. You had 24-20 for the Detroit, so you were pretty close actually. Only 3 points off. I had it 438.
You went.
I went higher.
You thought it was going to go
close. Still, we both had about the same closeness, but it was close. Going back, we didn't talk about the Browns and Texans. We both. I had the Texans by 3. You had the Browns by 4. Both had Kansas City and both had Buffalo. So when we talk about that,
I knew it was going to happen.
What's that?
Jason Kelce retiring.
Yes. It was pretty obvious.
This is a nice segue into the game because we all know that Philly offense couldn't get started. Defense was Patricia-esque.
Are we going to blame that? Is that where we're going?
With the defense, with the defensive collapse, would they've won one game in the last 7?
No, it is. I know. And even Tampa Bay.
They had so many opportunities to win. And also, I meant to send you a text that said Jalen Hurts' dislocated finger still greater than Marcus Mariota. Oh,
yeah. Well, and the thing about that game, so I picked the Eagles. And only reason I picked him, and I told you I'm gonna.
I took Tampa because the spread was. I didn't like the spread.
You took the Eagles. No, you took the Eagles.
I took the Eagles in there, but I took the spread.
Oh, yeah, the spread. Yes. What was it? 6 or 5?
Something?
Yeah, it was or 4.5 or something. So
something I didn't like, and I was like, I'm going to take this.
I think. So watching that game, and I watched it all. Obviously, you look at. We'll talk about.
Oh, I want to see the Nielsen ratings just for Oklahoma alone.
Everyone in their house watching that game.
Because it was like, I guess what Barry was there, Switzer, Bosworth was there,
Snake Riley was there.
Now Snakey,
yeah,
Snakey Riley shows up and Philly can't tackle.
I love that one. That was one of the best ones. It's like he shows up and they all of a sudden can't tackle. Well, let's talk about the Eagles first. So you kind of highlighted that the Matt
Start
Patricia,
out 10-1,
the Matt Patricia change.
Yes.
You're going to do a little blame. Now they've had a lot of injuries in the secondary. Obviously Tampa knew about that. They threw the ball 36 times, but so we talk about Hurts, and Hurts didn't have a bad game. 25 of 35, 250, 1 touchdown. He did get sacked 3 times, and his rating wasn't bad. It was 100. But now bring it down a little bit, Sean, on these rushing stats, because that's what I thought that Tampa did so well.
The rushing game that they have not had all season.
Well, no, Swift hasn't been bad. I mean, he's had his moments.
We're talking about.
Yeah, talking about Philadelphia.
Philly.
We're talking about them.
Oh, yeah. So their rushing game goes away.
Yes.
And they can't do anything. And all of a sudden, Tampa finds their rushing game.
A little bit. They had a lot more rushes, but I mean, they only averaged 4.1. But I thought the Rashad White played really good in the first half to get them that lead. But you go back to Devontae Smith had 8 catches, 148 yards, but one of those was that huge catch in the first half of the 55 yards.
You scored 9 points in the second quarter, and then Tampa comes out to score 9 points, so that nullifies that. So we're looking at 16-7. So what is that?
27-9.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 20.
No,
20,
just
20. No, I'm sorry, 25. That's what I meant.
Yeah, so you've got that. So they scored nothing besides that 9, and that other 9 takes it out. So there's
they had
those unanswered points.
They had the touchdown, and we stopped. And I thought the touchdown.
Didn't they go for 2? Why did they go for 2?
They did. No. What happened is we got an offsides penalty on the kick. So they moved it to the 1. So Sirianni, in his genius, goes, oh, yeah, we're going for 2 because they're at the 1 now, and they go for the tush push. I thought that was a huge momentum swing just for the psyche of Philadelphia. They stopped the tush push. He did not get in, and that was only a 2-point conversion. It wasn't for a touchdown. They'd already scored. But I thought that the momentum right then for that defense, I mean, they were already playing well, but, man, they just kept going. They held them scoreless in the second half. And Todd Bowles, to his credit, and I've always said this, I don't think he's a great head coach.
Yeah.
I've talked about potentially firing him many times.
Yeah, we both agreed on that.
But I will always say that if I wanted to, if I was a head coach named tomorrow and I wanted to hire a defensive coordinator, he'd be my number 1 call, hands down. Because then he's calling the plays. He said this week that he did some scheme changes. He said they knew they were weak in the backfield, so they were going to throw the ball a little bit more. But he said they schemed up some things and some different fronts.
Yeah, Baker balled out.
Tampa looked the best on defense that I'd seen them maybe. Well, I mean, not all. I say all year. I mean, they haven't. It's not like they got their rears kicked every game.
No.
They just haven't been able to score that much. So go ahead and talk about Baker, Sean, and then segue into that.
What do you mean?
Were you getting ready to talk about Baker and I
just said he balled out.
He did. He really did.
I said he balled out, protected the ball. What he had.
Go back to that big interception. Zero
interceptions.
Again.
I mean, what was the turnovers on this game? I don't know. Was it? I don't think there were any turnovers, were there?
I don't remember.
Yeah, 0 turnovers from both teams.
Yeah, okay.
Time of possession. Of possession. Tampa had it just a little bit longer.
And there wasn't a lot of turnovers either.
426 yards to 276. What was their? What was their? Philadelphia 0 for 9 third down.
Oh, it's huge. The defense,
2.
yes. That's a good. I'm glad you brought that up, Sean. It was. Thank you. It was 0 third downs.
I hate you.
0 third downs. I did have that wrote down somewhere. See, and that was huge. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The defense looked the best they have, and dare I say, hold on, you know that I have.
Yes, I did say Baker balled out.
I have mentioned in previous pods that my thinking of Jalen Hurts maybe isn't. Maybe the Hall of Fame, like you have maybe projected him to be in after 1 year.
He made the Hall. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback.
I think I'm going to make this prediction right now, and I made mine.
Craig, write this down.
I made this 2 years ago about Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
I said that Joe Burrow will
He's
never.
He's not going to go back to the Super Bowl with
the
that
Bengals.
Team.
I'm going to make this prediction that Jalen Hurts will never go back to a Super Bowl. Period. People are figuring him out. He's not that great of a passer. The guy can move, no doubt. I'm just wondering, there's a lot of discourse in that team. If you hadn't, I mean, in Philadelphia, and is he the leader? Is he a problem? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm not going to shit on him yet.
But
I just know
the
trajectory has went down.
The dejection of the entire team. Now, I do feel bad for Jason Kelce. He did deserve a ring. He does deserve a Super Bowl ring. But, yeah, Craig, he said that. But Jalen Hurts isn't the problem on this team. That defensive collapse. Now, he did screw up in games and throw an interception, but, hell, Josh Allen has too. Baker Mayfield has as well.
In a minute, I was going to Google up. I think Hurts has won. I want to see what his. I saw a stat, and it could be wrong because I didn't fact check it. But it said that if you'll look this up, Sean, leave that up if you could do another screen. That Jalen Hurts has not won a playoff game unless the defense was held the opponent to 7 or under. points.
Well, that's anybody could do that.
No, but I'm saying he hasn't won one when the defense has given up more than 7 points. Think about that. That means are you riding your defense into the playoffs? Maybe. That's my whole. And most teams do. There's no doubt. I mean, we've got the Brad Johnsons. We've got the what's his name from the Ravens, coaches at UAB. Why can't I think of his name? Dilfer. You've got those coaches that's going to come in. Just look at his playoff record. That those coaches are going to come in and they're going to. I'm sorry, there's quarterbacks come in and they're going to ride some defense. I mean, sometimes you just need serviceable quarterbacks to do that. Is Jalen Hurts in that segment now? Is he just going to be serviceable, or what are they doing here? Now, I do know he had an injury with his finger when it come up. Before the game, I did read in practice that he hadn't thrown the ball. I think he started throwing the ball on Friday, so there was some work and some healing to be done there. But I don't know. He's working on that history to see if that stat's right. But I just wanted to know his playoff wins.
Okay, here is conference champion San Francisco 7.
That's
Super
right.
Bowl.
They lost though.
They lost. New York Giants
7-7.
No, did he play in this game?
No.
2021?
I don't think so.
Let me look at this. Jay Hurts.
Wouldn't matter. They lost.
2020, yeah.
They did. They lost though. I'm saying his wins.
So yeah. So
his wins in the playoffs, the defense has held both teams to 7 points.
Yeah.
That stat was right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, Kenny.
I'm just saying.
Cool.
Thank you for whoever posted that on Twitter.
Cool.
But I thought,
cool to whatever,
well, that's interesting.
Cool to whatever number nerd out there.
No, but I mean that's what I'm saying. And then so obviously the Eagles started 10-1. That means they won one game after that.
Craig asked how many points did they win, and I've already shut that window. Which
What's that?
They scored a lot.
30s. They were in the 30s. Both were in the 30s. Yeah, they did score in the 30s. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying is you ride that defense. The defense has struggled this year. You just admitted to that. And they went.
There's defense has struggled.
They went from 10-1 and then lost. Only won one more game.
Seven games.
And they only won one more. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, when
the defense
they went
struggled.
1-6.
Exactly.
If you count this game.
And it's like I said, it's like Purdy. It's great to have everything around you working out great, but when you have to be a Hall of Fame quarterbacks, they put the team on their shoulders and they take them to the promised land, and that's just not what's happening here.
Do they?
But Purdy could, and I'm telling you, I've got a big prediction. Not tonight.
Kenny's big predictions,
no, not
ladies
tonight.
And
But I have a Purdy take that I'm going to bring up if he keeps winning. I've got a pretty good take when it comes to that. I might have some admittance on wrongness. Rarely do I do that, but
woo, comeuppance. I'm gonna get the dejection on the Philadelphia Eagles sideline was, I'm not gonna say great, but they lost a lot of fight in that game. They went down to Tampa and they just stopped. Raymond James Stadium, is that where they're at?
Yes,
they're in St. Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, they're in Tampa. That's across the bay or across the state.
No, they're not in Tampa. They're in
they're in Tampa. That's on the Gulf
Raymond
side.
James is down
in Tampa Bay, the town they
Richmond.
No, it's not. It's in Tampa. It's not ish.
It's in a suburb like Dallas. Okay, so for our upcoming games on that side, we have the Packers at the Niners in Santa Clara. 62 degrees. I thought it was going to be colder than that. I thought it was going to be down in the 55s.
Let's go.
5 minutes for what?
Wrap up. All right. No, we're gonna finish up.
I've been given a 5-minute signal, ladies and gentlemen.
We're gonna finish up with our picks. Where are we at right now? About an hour. Yeah, we'll be about an hour. Okay. So we talked. We all previewed the games. I thought, you obviously got the 2 bye seeds, or the bye teams, Ravens, 49ers. Some people will think that rest is too much. I think most teams went in pretty healthy.
Remember when we used to have 2 teams that rested?
Yes.
Yeah.
When they added now, so now it's
you
one.
don't. You only have 1.
Yep.
I'm gonna have the Packers.
All right, bring it up. Let's go. Let's do it.
Packers, Niners. Niners at
9-point spread is what Vegas Insider has. It's at 49ers.
34-20.
34.
I'm taking that 14 points, baby.
34.
I'll give them 20 in the
20.
end. I'll give them that they score 1 in the end. What you got?
Oh. Man, 34-20? That's not a bad score, actually. Actually, I think I'm gonna give the Packers a little bit more. I'm gonna go 38-27. 38-27.
Taking that 10-point win.
Yeah, I think they're gonna 11, and they're gonna score a little bit.
Houston, Baltimore in the cold weather. 24-20.
What is is it just cold? Looks like sunny though.
28 degrees is what it's.
It'll be an afternoon kickoff, so it's going to be bright. There's not another light. It's going to have until the end, maybe. So what do you got?
24-20.
So close.
Mm-hmm.
Spread on that's 9. So you're going to take Houston covering the spread?
Yeah, I'm taking Houston covering.
Funny.
Watch C.J. Stroud all of a sudden not ball out. Lions, Buccaneers. Here we go.
31-27 for me. I'm also taking Houston to cover, not to win.
I'm taking Detroit. 38 Buccaneers.
It's gonna be a bitch.
How did you know?
38. Oh,
38-17.
24-20. Detroit. I'm gonna take Detroit winning that one. Keep the score stays low. For that.
Kansas City. Wait for this one. Kansas City, Buffalo. I got Buffalo 15-10.
That would be the Chiefs' offense actually this year. So
15-10. Actually, it's probably gonna be more than that because that Chiefs defense is. Oh God, I don't know who they are.
It's a night game. Looks like it's gonna be
night
fairly
game. 20 degrees at the Bills Mafia. Somebody's going through a table.
31-27. I'm going to take the Bills, too. They're my secret Super Bowl pick, so I've got to keep going with them.
Kenny, they can't be a secret Super Bowl pick if you told everybody.
If not, yeah, I know, but they were no one was picking them 4 or 5 weeks ago is what I'm saying. They had looked at their lowest. They were a 500 record. If you remember, they were lucky to get in the playoffs.
God, I've seen you at your lowest.
Exactly. So anyway, all right. Is that it? Is that the?
That's all the games, yeah.
That's it. All right. Well, that gummit. We picked every game the same.
So just yeah, nice.
All chalk.
Quick news: Jason Kelce, of course, is retiring. He is spent time with his family.
He looked it.
Do that cool fucking podcast that he's got.
He looked it
because it's hilarious. Yeah, he looked like he was done. For an NFL center, he has played like 10 years past what he should have.
And we've talked about this too. Is when they start losing the line for Hurts, we're going to see it's going to be interesting to see how that line maintains because Philadelphia's strength has always been that offensive line since Hurts has been there. You've got Lane Johnson, you've got Kelce, all those guys. I mean, they have one of the best.
I don't even know if Lane Johnson is
he's going to come back. He said he's going to play. Yes, he said he's going to come back and play. So I think that'll be huge for them.
Huge.
Also, in news. Caleb Williams did do a post that said he wanted to make sure the Bears wasn't getting the first pick. And so what we've claimed every day is, since the Bears got the number 1 pick, is trade that motherfucking pick. Please, trade
nobody
it.
Wants him.
Trade it.
There's no reason for him to go number 1.
No, but somebody wants him. That's the point.
The Giants.
Giants
want him. Let him go
I do feel that.
Let him go. You'll have Daniel Jones and Caleb Williams.
The
quarterback shit show.
With Belichick out, does that start to change the thinking? I mean, you're leaving the Patriots out immediately, but Belichick's gone. So does that change the draft dynamic there about what they do? Maybe they tried to.
I know that's Mayo coming.
Maybe they tried to. Maybe they tried to.
Tomlin's coming back. What was the other news? Andrews, Mark Andrews. He should be playing next week, hopefully. Tight end.
Is he going to try to make it back?
Yeah,
I know they said he was going to try.
He's very close.
All right.
I think he's doing on-field work. Then we're going to jump into that college. So we were talking about.
DeBoer gets hired at Alabama. We talked about that last week as we were closing.
Right.
He had just retired.
And then DeBoer steals South Alabama's head coach as a D coordinator, and I was laughing with Kenny, and I was like, Does that mean Major Applewhite is going to take over South Alabama? And Kenny goes, what?
He is their quarterback coach.
So, yeah, I think he's their co-offensive coordinator, too.
Possibly. Kane Womack takes the defensive coordinator job from the University of South Alabama, who is a hell of a program, and he's built a hell of a program. So you look at DeBoer coming. He is not there. An Alabama guy. Obviously, he's been up in the north, Sioux Falls, Fresno, at the northwest area of the United States. So he hires a guy that's in Alabama already coaching and doing well, and hires him and as his offensive coordinator, as defensive coordinator.
Jed Fish shows his colors, and he just runs away to Washington for that money.
Good job. And then it looks like Brent Brennan from San Jose State is going to take the Arizona job. So it's going to be tough because I think Fish is going to take some of them dynamic offensive players, the wide receiver, the quarterback. I can't think of his name. I should know it just because we just played them.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it is. But listen, one thing that you got to think about though is, and DeBoer, and I'm not saying DeBoer has to me one of the most. We talked about this, Sean, a little bit. Washington looks so particularly good in every facet of the games. There was not a lot of mistakes. You know what I mean?
DeBoer's trajectory was that of on the same. It was on the same level as Nick Saban.
No, kinda. Except Nick had a little more NFL experience.
He did.
But here's the deal:
but I'm saying that they're winning. Their culture that they build, the teams that they're building.
Totally agree. But is Alabama going to give them the time to do that? And I kind of wonder. That's going to be tough. I mean, like we talked about, first conference game for Alabama is Georgia this year.
College football is the most cutthroat for coaches. No longer do you have a coach there for over 5 years.
Oh God, no.
If they're not a winning coach.
But kudos to some programs that have. So that's some things we'll talk about in the off season when we're into basketball and no football. So anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll be watching a lot of football, and I hope you enjoy it too. And we'll be back next week on Monday.
Nope.
Okay, nope. We're not on Monday.
I'm on the turnaround.
So we'll be back.
On the turnaround train. So we will not be back until that Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
We'll be okay. We'll see you guys Thursday, or we'll see you Thursday.
Whatever you.
We'll see you Thursday, Friday to preview the games, and we'll talk about the games that just happened. So thanks for joining us.
So yeah, 25, 26, or 27 is what
I'm sounds good. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye. Bye.